Good morning, y'all. Morning, Tim. Morning, Jeff. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? Everybody have a good evening last night? I I enjoyed my evening, by the way. Had a nice dinner. Watched the final episode of The Crown. Last episode of season 5. Good fun. If you haven't watched it, it's a beautifully shot show. Entertaining. It's interesting. Like if you're into the whole what do you call it? The word's escaping me. The monarchy. If you're into the monarchy or interested in the monarchy or whatever, it's kind of interesting, especially to watch it now that they're getting ready to crown the new king in his coronation, which is going to be a hoopla. But it's fascinating, actually. I learned a lot about Elizabeth and her story is really interesting. And then throughout all of that, it kind of like you kind of go on and start Googling things and see like the old pictures and a lot of history I was not aware of, but it's fascinating, but not what we were going to talk about this morning. I just stumbled, in fact, something that apparently was in my inbox for like the last 6 days that somebody sent me. Person I'm not a fan of, frankly. But they sent me something interesting, which led me, again, like everything else becomes a rabbit hole. I went down and found something else that was interesting through this same YouTube account, which I'm going to show you now. We're going to talk about J6. So, this video, just to kind of set it up a little bit. I'm not a big fan of the person who put this together. I'm not promoting this person, but I think what they have put together is important because it's important information. And you'll have to take it for what it's worth. What you see is what you get. But that is the extent of it for me. There has been over, I don't know how long, there has been this discussion of this character known as Jaden X. And the video that Jaden X, the live stream video, and the documentary that he was making. But you'll understand the difference and why this is important because of who Jaden X is, what he was a part of, what he stood for, and how he manages to separate the accounts and why it's Jaden X versus John Sullivan and some of the other names that he used and the group that he started and was the leader of. And you'll hear his voice and you'll see some of those connections as to how and why there is this mystery that surrounds him and what happened on January 6th. And yeah. I it's funny, I still haven't watched that. Yes, Jaden X does equal John Sullivan. Absolutely. There is no question actually about that. So we'll just give it a minute. Just checking the chat here. I've never seen the series Hell on Wheels. That's an interesting one. Not one I caught. It sounds familiar. Flea market floppy disk. Hysterical. I'd love to understand where that comes from, but I know what a floppy disk is and I know what a flea market is, but I'm not sure what a flea market floppy disk is. But it is a beautiful day. It's cold. The temperature's dropped, but it's beautifully sunny outside. I've been trying to figure out what my day is going to consist of. Still working on motorcycles and stuff, but I saw this came up and I thought, well, this is too good. I really want to share. So without any further ado, let's pull this up and take a watch together. It should be interesting.
2020, Sullivan continued posting about organized protests on the Instagram.
For some reason that was playing. Let's take this back to the beginning here. Okay.
Other news outlets from secretly paying him $70,000. That finally came out in court just last week.
I'll give you your hug now. We did it. You were right.
So hopefully you can see this here. This says, seated with John Sullivan on CNN is Jade Sacker, a photojournalist who followed him into the Capitol to film his exploits as part of a documentary project. Here, she's heard congratulating him, quote, "We did it." And he says, quote, "Is this not going to be the best film you've ever made in your life?" This is from Twitter account Max Blumenthal. We'll look into him shortly. And this video that you see here was from his live stream, which was removed from social media, was removed from his YouTube channels, whatnot. I need to go back and find, I know I did a screen grab, screen recording of these live stream pieces that were up at the time. I don't remember how much I have of that. I really need to go back and pull that up because it might be a challenge to show, but we'll keep going here because this is building to, an understanding. You'll see.
Dude, I was trying to tell you. I couldn't say much.
You were right.
You just have to watch my chat. Is this not going to be the best film you've ever made in your life?
I have Jaden X. That separates. I have Insurgence USA, civil rights organization. So it separates I separate my identity based on the specific role that I'm playing, right?
Then the athlete became an activist, arrested after organizing the...
So for those of you who don't know, John Sullivan was an Olympic speed skater before he became an activist. And part of his activism, he created Insurgence USA group. You'll learn more about that here coming up. Right? If you were watching live streams, I'm sure you would have seen his live stream. His live stream can probably still be found on some of the restreamers' stream walls. You may not have the audio, but the one thing that has stood through everything is the stream walls, some of them. And they're out there. Good morning, Troy. But I don't know where this audio recording of him came from. We may find that out. I don't remember. I've only watched this once, so we're kind of reviewing this together again. But obviously, banned video is War Room and what's his damn name? You'll see him pop up.
Provo protest in July of 2020, Sullivan continued posting about
So this is Insurgence USA. This is a lot of the normal stuff that we tend to see. Insurgence USA, DC, January 6th. Meet us and be there. I think it says 11 a.m. sharp. Can't quite read the time on there. Keeping our people and property safe. Black Lives Matter Plaza, 16th and K Street, Washington, D.C. U.S. Against Racism, organized by FHGC and NFAC. For those of you who don't remember NFAC, NFAC is the armed black militant group that had, I think it was in Louisville, where while clearing their guns, accidentally shot two people. But we've seen them bouncing around cities and whatnot. But they're the armed black militia, which that militia is okay, but any other militia, any right wing militia, we'll say, is no bueno. So there's that. But it says Insurgents USA Grand Rising, quote, "Let me say peace to you if you're willing to fight for it," end quote, Fred Hampton Sr. That's what that says there. All right, let's play.
protests on the Instagram page for his company Insurgence.
Let's go back there just a little bit. I want to see what that said, because it's not clear.
Is this not going to be the best film you've ever made in your life?
I have Jaden X. That separates. I have Insurgence USA, civil rights organization. So it separates I separate my identity based on the specific role that I'm playing, right?
Then the athlete became an activist. Arrested after organizing the Provo protest in July of 2020, Sullivan continued.
She says arrested after the Provo, Utah protest in July of 2020. And by the way, Jaden X had been live streaming Antifa protests as an Antifa member up until they stopped the cameras once they realized that those live streams were being, and then even then he would do it sort of undercover. And so that's how most of us learned about John Sullivan and who John was and what he was a part of as an Antifa member, and what was going on there.
Posting about organized protests on the Instagram page for his company Insurgent.
This was the one I wanted to see. So Insurgents USA, down at the bottom here, it says, "Time to kick the fascists out of DC, January 6, 2020. Trump is not our president. Something for good location." I don't know what's written behind that. It's not a good screen grab. It's actually cut off just a little bit. Protest DC protest, Washington, DC. He's got a Facebook link there. InsurgentsUSA.com. Let's take a look here real quick. So when I do a search for Insurgence USA, obviously the website appears to be gone. PolitiFact. Let's see what our friends over at PolitiFact say on this one. Stated on January 7th, 2021 in the Facebook post, says left-wing activist John Sullivan incited the insurgents of the U.S. Capitol. We know John wasn't the sole inciter, right? He was one of the inciters. That was clear. That was something you could see in his video from that day through his rhetoric. But let's see. Facebook posts wrongly claim left-wing activist Antifa incited U.S. Capitol mob. If your time is short, John Sullivan, an activist from Utah. It's funny, like they won't identify him. Like the left loves to label everyone except for when it's not convenient to them, which is really interesting. Let's see if I can pull this in here a little tighter so you can see it. John Sullivan, an activist from Utah, joined supporters of Donald Trump who stormed the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. He said he was trying to document what happened. There's no evidence that Sullivan incited the insurgents. Actually, his live stream is very much evidence. They don't look at that. They haven't seen that. They probably don't know it exists because it was removed so quickly. Alone amid he literally saying, burn this place down. You know, like you've heard those chants from the left of center activists. They love to burn this shit down, right? Alone amid the crowd of thousands, video he uploaded online shows his perspective as he filmed it. Oh, so they acknowledge that they are aware of his online, but clearly deny what it says. There is lots of hours. Plus, you have over 14,000 hours of video recorded from the Capitol surveillance system that the Republicans are trying to make sure that you can see. And that is true. And for what reason, it's still questionable. Yeah, see, that's the problem, is that I don't believe how that information was obtained was legitimate. I know that there's been an active smear campaign against conservatives, so I always question what I see, Tim K. So no, I won't talk to that yet, but I'm looking at it because I've noticed how people like you, Tim, have latched onto that, right? So I know what a witch hunt. I know what a witch hunt looks like, Tim, and you're very good at it. So yeah, I know you want to come in here and redirect the conversation, and we'll see how long that lasts for you, Tim. But I got my eye on you, Tim. So why don't you be a part of this conversation and understand what's being said and shown here before you try to redirect the conversation to, your beliefs. So Sullivan denied any affiliation to the broad Antifa coalition, although he has posted related hashtags on his Twitter accounts. So he supports Antifa, he hashtags like Antifa, but he denied any affiliation to the broad Antifa coalition. Fascinating. there remains no legitimate evidence that the mob at the Capitol was infiltrated or led by Antifa activists in disguise. This is from Fact Check. So keep that in mind. And again, I'm showing you how I'm going about this discovery. I didn't come up here and pre-do any of this stuff. That's typically not what I've done. Sometimes I do, right? But here, let me get us back to... I'm going to make this a hotkey number 1. Okay, let's see if this works. If I tap number 1 now.
A company Sullivan dedicated to ending police brutality and unifying the nation.
My name's John Sullivan. I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Does any of this look familiar to anyone? G. Abbott, here's a question for you. Can you email me the full transcript or the full report? I'm having a hard time finding that for some reason. But you know what I was able to find? And it's just for you. I was able to find all the Breonna Taylor information and the pre-raid police report, police file as to why they were doing the raid, which we'll talk about another time. But Antifa must have hacked Fox's phones and servers. Or Tim K, maybe they made that shit up. Like they make up all the other shit. You know, the Russian bot accounts, you know, Adam Schiff's evidence of collusion. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I absolutely wouldn't be surprised. Tim K, do you know that I had somebody try to get my phone to pull off what they thought was evidence of something? I'm amazed. Is the link in that description? Okay, great. I'll do that. Don't promote your channel on my feed. I'll ban you. And by the way, nobody bans anyone. There's no mod banning or blocking today. So just so everybody's aware. And I'm not mad at you mods. Just stop banning people. I'm kind of watching the chat. And if you want to, here, I'll make sure I've got this up here. If you want to alert me to something or whatnot, I have direct messages turned on. Let's see here. This can't be posted because it contains content blocked by the community. This may also be viewed by the community owner. I don't know. Don't be mad. Was he arrested for trespassing at the Capitol like other J6ers? He was arrested and then released. I don't know what's happened with his case. He may have been released on the sense that he's a quote unquote journalist, but he's not being held accountable like all the others are for the trespassing and whatnot. So he, in his video, when I watched it, one of the things that he was responsible for was he was actively helping and inciting with the Capitol officers to force doors open and move the crowd in. I will go back and see if I can find that video. I don't know where I have it stored. It's interesting what's going on here. Checking the chat here real quick. It's funny. We have the Unreal Brett. We have this account in the chat, who is a Brett Boyle hater. And then we have the real Brett Boyle. In the chat. Sullivan Brothers is an interesting dig. It is. They do not get along. Look, if we can't deal with being in the chat, you'll be banned from the chat. I won't have. The Black Rooster says, "Stop it." G. Abbott is amazing. G. Abbott is a propagandist, is one of the things. But let's get back to this video.
My group is Insurgence USA. We fucking about to burn this shit down. We got
one of his
Trump out of that office right over there.
One of his favorite things to say is burn this shit down. I think that tells you a lot.
Can pull him out that shit.
Then on the night of the 6th, Millie Weaver was able to...
Sullivan continued posting about organized protests on the Instagram page for his company, Insurgence, a company Sullivan dedicated to ending police brutality.
It only has a 10-second, or pardon me, a 30-second back.
Salt Lake City, Utah. My group is Insurgence USA. We fucking about to burn this shit down. We got fucking Rick Trump out of that office right over there. Fucking pull him out that shit.
Then on the night of the 6th, Millie Weaver...
So, how many of you have never heard this from John Sullivan? Witchy, I am very aware of John Sullivan. I know Steve, and I've also heard the interview that he did with John Sullivan. I was watching it live at the time and have listened to it many times. So yeah, I'm totally aware of that. Thank you. Hot Mess Summer says, Wizzy ND chat, neutral density, or what do you mean ND chat? All right, let's go back.
Was able to actually confront Jaden X.
Hey, so were you?
Yeah, give me a second.
Yeah. Are you BLM? Are you Black Lives Matter? John, can you just answer? Are you Black Lives Matter with Black Lives Matter, or are you with the right wing people?
On the phone, do you not?
Yeah, but are you Black Lives Matter?
It's a pretty intense outfit for people who don't like police in tactical gear. He actually dresses
just said
very
on the
much
phone
like
that
the
he is
NFS,
not being charged with
NFAC groups.
Did you say you weren't being charged with anything? I thought I heard you say that. Are you Black Lives Matter, John?
I'm of the opinion that what we saw yesterday was very much by design, that we did have agent provocateurs, and I'm of the opinion that you're one of them.
Back here, because I think this screen is important to take a look at. So this is where I believe this is coming from here. So this is Millie Weaver. And this says, exclusive January 7th, 2021 audio recording. John Sullivan is confronted about his father being in PSYOP. He says, quote, I know we are going to storm the Capitol, end quote, admitting BLM, Antifa, and Insurgence USA were involved. But again, it doesn't say where this audio source is coming from, which has been around for a while, because I know I had seen and heard this before. Don't know where it's from.
Much by design that we did have agent provocateurs, and I'm of the opinion that you're one of them.
Interesting. Really interesting on that. Why do you think I'm one of them?
It's because your father is. Your father's psyops, man.
So you've met my dad, okay? So
kind of further elaborates my point.
Let me just explain to you, because I know people are going to storm the Capitol. I'm on chats. I'm on underground chats. Like, I have my resources. There's not me, but I have people, right? And I'm not saying some fucking cop type shit. I'm saying my people in my organization, Insurgence USA, was a civil rights group that is Black Lives Matter, or if you want to label it Antifa, because Trump wants to label it Antifa, but I label myself as Insurgence USA, but for people's context, right? Yeah, they are in chats. They can easily give me information on what's going on, and same with everybody else. But it's a collective of people. You can disassociate yourself. I have John Sullivan. I have Jaden X. That separates. I have Insurgence USA, civil rights organization. So it separates I separate my identity based on the specific role that I'm playing, right?
And why? Why do you need to do that? What is the point of separating yourself? See, most people didn't realize when they watched the Jaden X video that he was John Sullivan, the anti-fascist streamer from the Pacific Northwest, who had been covering and being a part of these riots up there. You know, they don't know that, right? For those of us who had watched all the riot porn and seen what was going on, and I use that term loosely, riot porn, right? But we had all watched and we had known, and like, you watch this stuff and you're literally like, how is this happening in our country? How is this happening? How is this allowed to continue to happen night after night? Oh, Troll Central. I get that. I understand that. I'm well aware of you, right? As far as seeing you in the chats and the things you say and whatnot. Not who you are specifically, but I see your chats. I know what you got going on. And you are allowed to be whoever you want. But what's the purpose? Like, I've had WYSIWYG TV Shorts as a sub channel for not edited content, but clip down content from almost the start of WYSIWYG TV. I've always been WYSIWYG TV. I don't go out as anyone else. I don't disguise myself. So what is the purpose of disguising the, you don't want your content to be linked to your activism, right? Is what he's doing. He's separating his activism, which is left-wing radical, activism, from his wearing a Trump hat when you know that he does not support Trump. He doesn't believe in Trump as president. He, says F Trump, right? In his thing. So, he's a political activist. So why put on the gear in order to go to the Capitol and be press? Press doesn't need to dress up in anything. I've never worn Trump gear. I don't even, I have a pair of socks. I might actually have two pairs of socks now that I think about it. But, I've never worn Trump gear. I wasn't wearing a single piece of Trump gear while documenting January 6th. Zero support. And in fact, I didn't have anything on me that said press other than my press pass. Jaden X, for some reason, had to get dressed up, had to look the part in order to storm the Capitol, right? So this is important when he talks about the fact that he is trying to, hide who he is to go do what he's doing. That's why this is important. And I hope you all understand that, especially those of you like, Troll Central and Tim K. Tim K says, I see you like folks being lied to. Folks like being lied to, right? Tim K, how am I lying to anyone? Who likes nobody likes being lied to. So you got about 10 seconds. I've had about another. So this group caused the insurrection. No, baby. That's not what's being said. I love this broad brush of everything. There were people there, documented, that were not Trump supporters, that have been documented being involved with what happened that day. And in fact, that is how I got onto this today, because of another video, and the person is being charged with, whatever crimes. But the simple fact is that the video shows that he actually stopped people who were trying to break the windows at the Capitol, and then got assaulted by those same very people for trying to stop it. Right? And so that's what got me onto this. And I found this video and I thought it was really well put together, and brings all of this information together so you can see and hopefully understand for yourself. What you see is what you get. Let's go back to it.
Right?
Is there really a separation?
There is a separation. There is a separation for sure, because I can't be in a crowd full of Trump supporters and say F the police or say the things that I would during my regular activism.
No, they didn't, in fact. And in fact, you can see them on my video that they were not dressed up like Antifa. My video from January 6th shows the group of Proud Boys. They were all together. Less than 100 of them. So, always be kind. If you have some sort of evidence to prove your claim, please send it to the email address that is now in the chat, because I'd love to see it. I would love to see what you've got stating that. I agree with you. Wearing all black is flattering. I've worked in an industry where I wore black every single day, all black. That doesn't make you Antifa just because you wear black. It's the addition of other materials that then lead you to that anti-fascist black bloc look. Which, if you want sometime, we can go over. There's an entire handbook about how to dress for protests to hide your identity, put out by anti-fascists. So we can share and have that conversation. Why do you get to be the official narrative of J6? Did I ever claim, Troll Central, that I was the official narrative? I'm literally showing you a video. What you see is what you get. Get the fuck out of here. It's unbelievable. Like, we all know you're here. We all know that certain accounts are here. And you literally help prove my point by coming into this chat and saying the shit you say, because everybody recognizes it and sees what it is you're doing. I don't even have to point it out. I can see it from the chat comments. Dempsey says, Troy, you name 5 cereals and get punched until you name all 5 or any 5. Oh boy. Wes Robinson has joined us. See, baby, that's the problem to your question. It starts with, why would Antifa try to stop the president that they wanted in? Because that's not what was happening. And that's not what they were doing. They didn't want to do that. There's a reason why I walked around January 6th timeframe, 5th, 6th, 7th in DC and never saw Antifa out there. Even though Antifa had been around for months prior, like the video that we had shown, you know, with the Proud Boy attacks and the things like that, that we were arguing about, that had happened every time conservative groups were in DC. These anti-fascist groups went to shut them down. So one of the things that people expected showing up in DC on January 6th was to be confronted by anti-fascists who did not want Nazis in their neighborhood or in their town, right? The anti-fascists own DC. You understand what I'm saying, baby? Does that help you to understand that? Shelly G, wait, it gets better. Let's keep playing this. Let's keep playing this. Oh, here they are changing outfits. This was part of that. This is one of the things that people saw was this group changing clothes in the. This is video that. Raw video of riders in dark clothes changing into brightly colored political gear. Blue and red hoodies appear to be the same man who was later assaults me for disarming his window breaker accomplice. Now, the person who created this video, this is from a YouTube account that has literally 1 follower, and I'm not even going to tell you what the account is. I downloaded this video from that account. But he is, I think, edited together these bits and pieces of information. And so this is him writing from his perspective of that video. This is the person who stopped somebody from trying to break the windows at the Capitol. And is being charged by the federal government, and they, refuse to acknowledge what he was in the act of doing. And the video shows him, stopping that assault on the Capitol, and then being. So his point is that this video links those two people or those people together that were breaking into the Capitol. I wish I knew exactly where this happened or where this was going on. Oh, this appears to be actually outside the Capitol someplace.
Caught him! Delete that!
Original social media overlay caption dialog. Let's see what it says here. Can we see what it says? I don't know if I can even read it. Antifa changing costumes to Trump attire to blend in during the Capitol protests. How many more videos will it take? Is what it says there. The account's called Conservative Talks with a Z at the end. Appears to be from Let me address something here. Are we trying to agree if Antifa block is just as bad as alt-right patriot groups? I'm not sure what you're debating specifically. Well, why don't you take your hands off the keyboard for a little while and listen, Susan, because you're really off on this one. You clearly haven't been watching this video. You may have just joined us. Welcome. But watch. No, that is not what we're discussing. We're not talking about political violence at all. We're talking about some of the things that happened at the Capitol, specifically with this Jaden X. So keep watching, and feel free to question whatever you think. That was directly outside the Capitol. Yeah, I realized when I saw the stone columns there where that was. Again, there's not a whole lot of context to that. But it is interesting that somebody's changing clothes out of black into these colors. Like, why are you changing clothes right there? Highly suspect, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything. Because my first instinct is, how does a group of people dressed in quote unquote block get up to the Capitol without a bunch of people who I would hope were sort of aware of, these anti-fascist groups get there. So there's some issues to that video that even I question. How do you know it wasn't staged? You don't. That's another very valid statement. It could have been staged. A lot of things can be staged, can't they? MAGA likes to cross-dress in Antifa clothes. Really? Can you name a time specifically with some video? I'd love to hear it. Not typical representation. Now, not to say, I know several. Drew Hernandez was part of an assault on me at WYSIWYG 2. That he stood there undercover with hidden cameras, dressed up like Antifa. So I know journalists have done it to get video, without a doubt. So, because Susan, I see you in other chats and I see what you say. That's why. I know what you're up to. I know what you're about. So that's why I'm snide with you. So. What's going on, Hayes? That group of 3 had a black umbrella attached to their bag, and you can briefly see it had circular handle that was made of metal. Okay, yeah, I'm not denying what we're seeing. How are you? Susan, your comments have led to this. That's why. I have no patience for you. So that's why I am the way I am with you. I give you what you've given me. You understand? Thanks for playing along. Joe caught Antifa on video being coached on how to protest in California a few weeks ago. Yeah. It's not hard. again, baby, that's a great question. They would have shown up in Trump gear, I would imagine, right? Again, baby, not in the same way when you talk about that. Again, these are nuanced discussions. And typically it's kind of, but like, baby, as an example, Jeff the other day had a hard time. He mislabeled Proud Boys and Antifa because of the clip that he was watching on video. He assumed it was the Proud Boys that were attacking, and it turns out that it was the exact opposite, because and I was like, I don't think that's the way it is, Jeff, but if that's what you believe, I let him, kind of have his belief. But later on, we saw that it was actually Antifa that had taken over this park, and that what Jeff thought was the Proud Boys attacking people were actually Antifa. I can't say that I've ever seen Proud Boys look like Antifa. But, I haven't been presented with any evidence of that either. So, sometimes they all look very tactical. And to somebody who's not paying attention, I could see where you could sort of confuse the two, right? I'm skipping over a lot of comments. I can't read every single comment. Wes Robinson. The question I would have for you, Wes, is, do you know who the enemy is? And are you sure your enemy is who you think? Okay, Tim K, let's see what you got. Yeah, I've seen the same thing, Wes, or Tim. Again, I get it. And like I said, we'll see how this was about. I know you want to make a big upset roar about what's going on. But I see all the other crap you ignore. Tim, did you know that Trump is in Ohio today? Yeah. Your nose is correct, Flyer. Your nose is very correct. Birdie, I appreciate it. That's okay. We got time. Let's get back to the video, because there's another 3.5 minutes.
And it's not just Jaden X. Many other known leftist activists from around the country came to D.C. and posed as Trump supporters and helped rile up the crowd. While Trump was still speaking 1.5 miles away at the Ellipse outside the White House, already over 100,000 people had showed up at the Capitol. And observant patriots noticed that in the grass, in the bushes, behind the trees, people wearing all black, people with Antifa-style dress and gear were putting on MAGA gear, putting on Trump gear. And this, again, is just more evidence of how the left didn't overtly show up to confront Trump supporters that day. They simply blended in and added to the hysteria.
Simply blended in and added to the hysteria.
In October of last year, investigative journalist Millie Weaver, who had been tracking the Sunrise Project for more than 2 years, that's basically a college.
Yes, always be kind. That's what he had to do, which is funny as shit, because I don't know how Taco Joe, with his size, puts on a disguise. But yeah, he had to. He literally, like, always be kind. The fact that Joe, Hispanic man, had to dress in disguise to go watch and be a part of an anti-fascist protest which vandalized property in LA during their protest. What, do you not get the irony in what you're saying? Thank you for backing that up. I gotta star that. That's one of my favorites. Yes, he did have to dress up like Antifa to document. I don't know how they didn't see his camera. I don't know how they didn't see his live stream running. One thing I did notice is Taco Joe did not, I should say first responder, he did not put the graphic up on his phone. So he may have also been hiding his phone a little bit or had it attached to him. It didn't seem like he did, but you know, usually they're pretty well aware of cameras. How it, like watching it, I didn't see anybody care that he was there was very strange to me, because that's, other journalists were driven out from that event. So that is interesting that they left Joe alone. I did, Christy. I did. And I wish Steve could have kept his shit together. And Steve admits he wishes he could have kept his shit together to actually been able to have that conversation longer. But he did bamboozle and have the brothers on stream together. That's what ultimately ended it, because they do not associate with each other. But yeah, it was definitely interesting. Artie, you trying to discredit something just because Alex Jones says it, you're not discrediting the person. You should try to discredit the information. It's always a personal attack. I've noticed it happens with Tucker Carlson. Is they don't attack the claims that he's making with any objection. It's always just him. It's always him. He's a racist. Same thing with Alex Jones. If you had made the comment about what Alex Jones said, we'll go back and watch that again. Then I would understand your comments coming from someplace like, okay, I disagree with what's being said, not who's saying it. That's where you reveal everything to me about you, because I hope you understand that. Like, I know many of you do. I know many of you get that. Spy camera. He used his cell phone and was wearing a gas mask type apparatus. Yeah. Somebody said he turned the camera around on himself at some point. I didn't bother to look, but yeah. See, that's the same thing that his name just the other journalist did on WYSIWYG too. It was funny because I took him as a threat. The way he was doing what he was doing at the time. He does, yeah. And Villanova has told me that there were 4 videos that he took that were all deleted. And he and I talked about that because he used an iPhone as well. And we talked about what it takes to delete footage. Yeah, and again, I'm not, with Alex Jones, it's Alex Jones, it's whatever. Just because a crazy man tries to tell you something, You can look up and see the footage, and we'll go back and see what he's saying. But this is not an Alex Jones bit. But Millie Weaver, we know that her channels were shut down. She was attacked. She's an investigative journalist that worked with Alex Jones. But again, is what she's making a claim to, is what she's showing you, is it wrong? Is the information incorrect? Attack the information, don't attack the person. That's where I go. So here, let's go back just a hair so that we can review this, since we forgot where we were at. He's showing, he's referencing down at the bottom center of this screen the outfits. Now, it doesn't mean that you could discredit the information. Everybody was dressed differently. Clothing does not automatically make you guilty, right?
Outside the White House, already over 100,000 people had showed up at the Capitol. And observant patriots noticed that in the grass, in the bushes, behind the trees, people wearing all black, people with Antifa-style dress and gear were putting on MAGA gear, putting on Trump gear. And this, again, is just more evidence.
By the way, could you see the cuffs? Let me go back just a hair, see if I can find the frame. Right here. Let's see.
Dress and gear were putting on MAGA gear, putting on Trump.
And those glasses.
Gear. And this, again,
they look like zip tie cuffs.
Is just more evidence of how the left didn't overtly show up to confront Trump supporters that day. Yeah. They simply blended in.
Smith, and I agree, because tactically they block and deblock behind cover. That's their normal way of doing that. That is part of being in block, is the getting in and out of blocking and deblocking under the cover of privacy, so that they don't see who's who. You can't identify, a group of people are now behind this black cloth in a park changing clothes. They were civilians going in, and now all of a sudden they come out, they're all covered, and you can't go like, wait, which one's which, right? Purpose of black bloc. Documented as well. So
added to the hysteria. In October of last year.
So I guess that video was supposed to just show you that, this is a person who's dressed in all black, but their face isn't covered, because, again, I don't know how you could have completely covered. You could not have shown up at the Capitol in full block, traditional block, and not been noticed by people.
Investigative journalist Millie Weaver, who had been tracking the Sunrise Project for more than 2 years, that's basically a college-level George Soros Democratic Party-funded group that teaches Antifa and BLM tactics. Millie got dozens of hours from an inside whistleblower of this organization planning to carry out the exact type of insurrection that then took place on January 6th.
Our undercover inside the Sunrise Movement was able to obtain
the Sunrise Movement. Has everybody heard of the Sunrise Movement? Anybody aware of the Sunrise Movement? Because I looked into the Sunrise Movement a little bit this morning. Sunrise Movement is an American 501c4 political action organization that advocates political action on climate change. When launched in 2017, the movement's goal was to elect proponents of renewable energy in the 2018 midterm elections, first in the Democrat primaries, and then in the general election held on November 6, 2018. Since the midterm elections, the movement has been working towards shifting the Overton window on climate policy to center the environmental program known as the Green New Deal. Founded in D.C., April 2017, by Sarah Blazevic and Varshini Prakash. Headquarters in D.C. Method is grassroots. Website is sunsetmovement.org. It says then, together with Justice Democrats and Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, the group organized a sit-in in the office of Speaker Nancy Pelosi, which brought Sunrise its first significant press coverage. Sunrise organized a similar event in February 2019, bringing a group of young people to confront Senator Dianne Feinstein in her office. Both of those things sound like insurrection to me, one of which was held and done with Ocasio-Cortez. But what you see is what you get. And before you go off the handle, this is from Wikipedia. So there you go. But that's the Sunrise movement that they're speaking of here. Which it's documented. They took over Nancy Pelosi's office. Sounds like a insurrection by the definition of some. No, Tim K. My latest one, my favorite one was Soros is backing Governor DeSantis in Florida, and the video going out and the activists trying to make it sound, what they did was they cut off half the statement that he made because he's so anti-Trump that he's supporting DeSantis over Trump. But fascinating the psyop that continues to go on in the WYSIWYG world. You have to look further. You have to push yourselves and others to get the whole fucking picture. Because when you take just a little snippet, if something catches your attention, look at it. Don't ignore it. Look at it. But make sure you see the whole picture, not just what they want you to see. See everything, because that makes all the difference in the world.
Exclusive video footage inside Zoom chats where Shutdown DC, BLM, and other leftist organizations are coordinating a multi-level coup action exercise utilizing insider help from Democrat Party members as well as federal employees and intelligence contractors.
I'm a management and programs analyst.
I work in the national security community.
I spent 3.5 years as a contractor at DHS HQ.
If you read the mainstream press, they all have Signal accounts, text them, leak everything you can. The journalists I've dealt with have been super ethical in ways to shield me, to be the source of the leaks.
Groups on the outside being able to show solidarity with federal workers.
Making sure that we're naming what is happening as a coup.
Totally agreed in that.
Can we see what the date is on this? It's a breakout room. I am loving the malicious compliance energy here. That sounds so leftist. The malicious compliance energy. There's time. I don't know. Maybe she'll mention how far or where this was in the time frame of January 6th.
On BC conversations that I've been having, and that's not on the federal side. We also are often saying, call it a coup.
They plan to shut down Washington, D.C. and other major U.S. cities starting November 4th until Inauguration Day.
Do we have any plans for how to respond if there's a coup?
Come to BLM Plaza
anytime after 4 p.m. on election night. On the 5th, we're going to shut down the White House.
Map the White House and know every access point so we knew we could blockade it.
On the 6th, we're going to shut down larger parts of Washington, D.C.
We've been working on a
Yeah, baby. The video has been circulating on social media. George Soros is on camera giving his support to Ron DeSantis. But then that clip usually ends before it gets to what his goal is to stop Trump. But the video that circulates through the left-wing politics is very, very small, short clip.
Target map and a framework for scenario. So where are all the police stations? Where are all the key government buildings? Who are the Trump boosters?
Members of Congress that are coming in, we're going to meet them at the airports or at Union Station and send them back to where they came from until we deal with the situation that we're in.
We are going to be in a crisis, but we want it to be one that we are creating. Whoever's got the guns can win. Let's take over the buildings. If there are people.
Gee, Abbott. Do you read the comments you post? And I don't know who the Munn family is. Did the Munn family break, steal, or did they just, as you say, hang out? They spent time, spending time, nearly an hour, including time in a private Senate conference room. Did they vandalize anything? Did they set it on fire? They were just there, right? Which, by the way, you'll notice that the Senate chambers now has the viewing platform open to the public. So I know on that day it was closed to the public. But besides trespassing, even though, if there were Capitol Police that were opening the doors and saying you can come in, does that change anything? I'm sort of just trying to understand, the Munn family pled guilty. That's all that matters, period. What did they plead guilty to? Trespassing? Yeah. Video probably shows them in there, right? Do you know in California, they don't even prosecute trespassing anymore? You can't even trespass somebody in California. Tara, that's why you have to have different accounts. I literally have a sort of left-wing account and a right-wing account because, yeah, your algorithm leads that direction on things. But it depends. I actually don't give two shits about it. To me, the more knowledge or the more sources you can see, the better. So I'm not really all that concerned with it. But I did create 2 separate Facebook accounts to follow and, see what comes up and what gets fed to me as being more conservative or more left-leaning. And it is interesting that they are tailored very differently. So, here, let's keep this playing here.
That are willing to do that, we should support them. Get ready to shut your city down on the 4th or the 5th.
Regardless of who wins, the left plans to take over.
And
that was it. No matter who wins, get ready. So that tells me that video was from even before the election, right? That they were talking about this. All right, guys, I got to go use the little boy's room. I need a break for a minute. Let's take a 10-minute break, and we'll be right back for more of this because this is really fascinating. But we'll be right back. Give me a few minutes. Everybody take 5. Get a cocktail. Go to the bathroom. Come back. Bye. 1 minute. 5 minutes. 10 minutes.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just give me up. Don't be I'm so gone, no, I'm never turning back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so on, you're gonna be hurting bad, cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad, I stay strong, you will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate, I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just give me up. Don't be scared.
All right, we're back. I'm sorry. the unicorn had good news she wanted to share, so I heard that and had a smoke. Let's take a look at the chat. See what we missed. I got to refresh on the coffee. Let's see what's going on. It's funny, Troll. Like, I would love to have a conversation with you. I am fascinated by you. I'm fascinated by many of the people that come into this chat. A number of people that are in this chat, by the way, I've spoken to, I've talked to on Discord. You know, I would consider them friends. Because it's more than just a name. It's a voice, and you hear the real intention in the voice, right? Me, I don't recognize sarcasm in chats unless it's really obvious. And I know Troll Central is not an obvious but just going back. Let's see. Troy, who's making personal attacks? I see you're talking about IP2 streamers. Red Mama's in the chat. Oh, I'm guessing, G. Abbott, maybe Red Mama is talking about the man that I mentioned yesterday who is in jail right now on $1 million bond, who we talked about last night, shooting Mexican national with an AK who was on their property in Texas. Tell me if I'm wrong. Richard, I'd love to see that video. And again, you know, it's like you see a video, sometimes it's from a different time, sometimes it's not from the same location. So those are all important things to verify. How's that saying go? Believe half of what you hear and only a third of what you see. I don't know. I got that way off, but God, Broccoli, are we still talking about people calling the police on you? Yeah, right. There's the comment that I was looking for from Red Mama. Stand your ground state charged with murder. Yeah, we were talking about that last night, Red Mama. I was showing what was going on there. That came up in some of the Twitter stuff that we were looking at yesterday. Another rally going to happen in Washington, D.C. tomorrow. Rage against the war machine. Jen, maybe it was you that sent me that. That is a libertarian event that's happening. Nothing you hear and half of what you see. Right. It's understanding what it is you're seeing. You know, like videos come out and then you realize they're quite old, and yeah, let me see if I can pull up some more from that account. Let me see what the other bits were. because wrong one. Let's see here. Okay. Nothing there. Nothing there. Yeah, see, that won't. See what's going on here.
Profit with gold and silver.
So you got a Second Amendment rally happening in Arizona State Capitol right now in Phoenix. Trump is supposed to be on the ground in Ohio today. I believe it's today he was going there. Yeah. You know, that video was really, I thought, sort of interesting in the breakdown of John and what he was up to. So Wes, I'm just curious, like what's your deal with broccoli? And why is it up to you? I'm just curious. Like, I know he's up in Canada. I don't know if you're in Canada too, but like there was Telescope's chat yesterday, called the police on the red squirrels. Like, what do you guys care? Who are you? Who are you to, you know, y'all hate the police. It's like, why are you calling the police? Yeah, from what I understand, this libertarian group was doing rallies across the United States over the next, well, I think it was 15th, 16th, 17th. It's interesting that it does that. It's when it automatically changes scenes. Troll Central, you know the answer to that. The chat doesn't call the police. They talk about it in the chat, and then as an individual, they call the police. It's not the chat, right? And I know you're not dumb. I know you're smart enough. Their neighbors do hate them. That is the claim that you've all made. Yes, Giab. I know you're really like sort of proud of your, like, mind your own fucking business. But yeah. Troll Central says, never call the cops, call your friends, which is interesting. Troll Central. Something I learned yesterday that was really neat. So it was Hot Mess Summer that called the police when the Breonna Taylor raid happened. Did you know that, Troll Central? I'm going to wait for your comment as to yes or no if you were aware of that. It's not, but the chat was talking about calling the police. So. Oh, I get it. But then, you know, I was listening and watching last night as I was walking Tucker, hearing the conversation. So Troll Central says, say it again. Are you aware Hot Mess Summer was the one who called 911 because of the gunshots the night Breonna Taylor was killed? Did you know that? Yes, Gra. Yes, actually, Max, that's one of the things. Let me just pull that up for you because there's a whole lot of information about that. They did not serve a warrant on the wrong house. They served the warrant on the house that they were surveilling. Okay, good. I'm glad you're aware of that. So, is there a Summer on The View? I don't watch The View. Is that one of the women from The View? Is that her name? That's not who we're talking about. Hot Mess Summer was in the chat here earlier. Susan thinks someone from DOA's team called, honestly. Okay. Does that change my point? I'm aware that Summer has been very open about her story. I am extremely aware of that. I've also had conversations with Summer about the police and her beliefs. And that is my point. Someone who hates the police so much, the first instinct they have is to call the police. So, one of the interesting parts of what I'm trying to understand, yes, Red Mama, it was used in the grand jury. She was part of the case. That all happened. What's the relevance of Summer hearing gunshots and calling? Like I said, someone who hates the police so much, their first instinct is to call the police. And you had made the comment, Troll Central. Your comment was, let's see here. Where is it? This was your comment. Never call the cops, call your friends. You know, I'm curious why, you know, someone who hates the police so much, their first instinct was to call the police. Second interesting fun fact is that her and the person that is making these claims about Summer, he seems to be in defense of Breonna Taylor and justice for Breonna Taylor. They both appear to be on the same side, but there's this sort of infighting that's happening. And it appears as though his claim is that she works with the police. And again, I can understand how trying to free victims of sexual, what's the not sexual violence, but protecting victims, that she would work with the police. So I just find it really weird how we badmouth the police so bad, but then work with the police. So there's this weird line, this gray area that is not being addressed. That is what I believe people are questioning and seeing. No, while simultaneously saying the opposite. G. I've listened to her. So Troll Central, what is the context? You were referring to Brett and Wes. Troy says, Wes Robinson, the fact that you are only here to constantly attack someone, I don't give a shit who or what it's about, is the only a disruption. Doesn't contribute a thing, a disgrace as a veteran. Again, Wes, with this, like, so Wes Robinson, how would he do that exactly? Wes, do you understand what the legal means for prosecution of a threat requires? Can you put that into a chat comment? Wes says he needs held accountable for his actions against Americans. And what actions would those be, Wes? What are his actions against Americans? Because again, you make these claims, but again, like, if I said I was going to run you over with my dump truck, in order to have that be a credible threat, I would actually have to have the means to do that. I don't own a dump truck. I don't have a dump truck. So, it can't be considered a credible threat, right? He's also not even in the same country as you are. I get that, Wes. But I don't know that, you sound sensitive to me. And again, I've gotten threats and death threats, and I understand what that means and looks like, and I get how that feels, right? But again, I see you in the chats. I see all over the place in the chats, and you irritate people, and I would imagine that Yeah. In LA, there was an activist who made a threat against a police officer. And unfortunately, through his social media, you were able to determine who that person was. And they were arrested, had their weapons removed from their property, seized. And is facing those crimes of making threats towards a police officer. Again, like, I can see where that would trigger Brett, and the fact that you would say such a thing, like, no, like, why? You're trolls, right? Again, you make a decision to have these. You're welcome, Frank. I thought it was important. I wanted to share it with you. But you cause and effect, troll, right? Your goal is to get someone riled up with your comments. And then when you get the reaction that you're looking for, you then go to all the other chats and go, look what I did. Look what I did. Congratulations. You've proven to be who you are. 10 hammers. I know Wes's account very well. I recognize he was one of the accounts that I unbanned. I just get tired of him after some point, right? Note to self: never ask OK what he did while having lunch. If you want to ask him, ask yourself. It was in chat, not his. Someone goes to your chat, then that's slightly, so Brett mods in all kinds of chats. So it may not have been his chat, but he might have been there, right? You guys all socially occupy the same spaces as people would say. And you know exactly what you're doing. And what you're now trying to do with me here is deflect on who you are and what you're doing. Just be fucking honest, right? Just be honest with your goal and what you're doing. It's not actually that hard. It's not difficult either. It's the disingenuous nature. You're blaming him. Like, you're the one who made the comment. You're the one who did what you did. Man up, girl up, put your big girl panties on, man up, whatever your gender role is, just own it. That's all. Susan, I don't think you're devious. I just think you're an asshole. Just like the good doctor who still talks about the fact that I called her an asshole. And by the way, she's unbanned as well. She's more than welcome to make an appearance if she chooses to, as anyone is right now. I'm pretty sure the ban list is cleaned out. In fact, I meant to go check that. Here, we'll visit this together so that you guys can see who's banned. Because I know it often becomes quite an issue with people. And I got an email from somebody who is a member of the channel saying that she was banned. And I'm like, I'm not sure that she is. So sometimes people have a hard time in the chat, but I will look and see. Let's see who here is banned. Hidden users. Let's see here. I don't know who Big Dice is. Big Dice is at the top of this list of hidden users. Big Dice. We'll unban Big Dice anyway. And then you got all these like adult Carmenon. I don't know who that is, but we'll unban them. Usually any foreign accounts get banned, usually because they've been spamming. So I usually leave them banned. Grifting ain't easy. Antifa sucks. I don't know. I don't know why they got banned. Who knows who they are? We'll unban them. Chris Woods. I think I remember banning him on the last stream, but we'll unban Chris. Russian accounts, they stay banned because they fall into that same category. Usually they're, spamming the chat with something. Predator Slayer. Who do you think that is? What alt account do you think that is? Look at all these spam accounts. Sunny, Arizona. Well, unban Sunny. I don't know who that is. But do you guys see like how this works? Troy says, I never wear panties. Sober. Breezy. Yeah, see, Breezy, what you can do, and maybe I can show you how that's done, but as a chatter, you can literally, you can craft the chat so that you only see the people that you want to interact with by just blocking those individual people, and then they won't show up in the chat. I don't need to ban them. You can just block them from seeing them. CCam is really good about doing that. He was talking about it one night on a stream. And then it's just the people he wants to be a part of. Instrumental 121. No idea. Get it? I. No I. No idea. But we'll unban them for the fun of it. Let's see. Another Russian account. Ruslan Ivanov. This account has stayed blocked forever because the name and the representation it has forever been on the ban list and will not get taken off the ban list for obvious reasons. Wes does seem like a delicate flower, doesn't he? Because there's nothing more delicate than going into other chats complaining about how others have, it's pretty sad. But that's the cover that you all fall under. But the thing is you didn't. It was a tax on people. There's a difference. And I know you can't understand the difference. But Queen Di, I don't think you've ever been banned. Well, you know what, Susan? I'm not going to bother to waste the time to show you the things that you've said about me in other chats. But just know, I see it. I have screenshots of it. It's understandable. So, Troll says, actually seeing the ban list is cool content. Why is it cool content? I'm just doing it so that you can see what we have to go through in order to clean this out. The Freakin Network, I don't know what that is. Bevy, I don't know. We can unban Bevy. But Bevy again seems like one of those troll accounts, or not troll accounts, but spam accounts. This might be too, but we'll get rid of it. Rothschilds must. See, you can't, jail central bankers, you can't have an account name like that. It breaks terms of service. And, you can't. So that's why that will stay banned. Dr. Avalanche, I don't know. Somebody's alt account. As above, so below. I don't know, but we'll unban them. And, this one here, this is questionable. We'll leave that one up there. Questionable. Cabbage eating old bish. I don't know. We'll unban them. It'll be fun. But look how many times these best cams have come in here. Pinder. I don't know even what that says. I can't imagine what this is. Here, this is just disrespectful right here. This I will not unban this person. This is just absolutely disrespectful. So that person, whatever. So let's show. There's 105 more. Oh, look, Al Munson. I don't know who banned Al, but I was having fun. Now, Wizzy Satan here, as you can see, that account will not be allowed back in. I'm not going to allow that. That's a picture of me, edited up. And I know whose account that, well, I don't know whose account that is. Wizzy's son, another account that, is attacking me, is now this account here. I've seen it before. I know why. I know why they get banned, but we'll let him back out. Bradley Evans, I don't know what he did, but we'll let him back out. Fight for Freedom, don't know, but we'll let him out. There's, Grow Better. I think Grow Better I banned on the previous stream. Again, spam accounts, right? Typically what those are. Splenda, I don't know who that is, but we'll let them out. More Russian accounts. Man Named Machine. There's a reason he's no longer welcome here. The one thing you don't do is dox people. So that's why he's not there. This is a WYSIWYG TV Shorts account, which isn't mine. Somebody created this and then took the icon. You can't misrepresent yourself as me and be allowed in the chat. So that's why that is on the permanent ban list. Inda Sumarjadi. Spam account, spam account. Spam account. Tinder Hots. Oh, look, it's Bob Swagger. Should we let Bob Swagger out of jail? We'll let Bob Swagger out of jail. And by the way, these people aren't out of jail quite yet. I have to hit save in order to do that. Another spam account. Let's see. More spam accounts. Jehovah. I don't know. This is just nonsensical. So that's clearly a spam account. We know why he's not welcome here. Find the Right Passion. I don't know what they said, but I've seen this account. Maybe that's who's emailed me. I don't know. I don't think they were. Again, just the name alone is a personal attack on somebody. I don't care for Sparky by any means. But yeah, you aren't going to do that. That's not allowed. So uncontrolled substances. We'll unban them. Oh, Jersey J Survival. We'll unban Jersey J. That's his alt account. The Mind Fucker. Okay. For some reason that was banned. Don't know why. It is. X Hamster. Isn't that porn site? Oh yeah, that's right. That's spam too. That's like one of these. Sadun Hassani. Sani. I think that's how you say that. A lot of spam accounts. All right. So that's the bottom of that list. So we'll go down here and we will click save. And look, all of a sudden, everybody's unbanned. So I hope that gives you a little insight as to how YouTube works and what you have to do. Troy's block list stays empty. Unblock uncontrolled substances. Well, I know, Troll. That's one of your alts. I'm sure. Along with what was that? Free something? Free TV? It really, like, you continue to prove my point. Thank you. I should thank you. You should get a free T-shirt for The narcissism is strong with you, Susan. I know you're an attention-seeking person that goes to these chats to do your thing. So, yeah. You'll own up to it, but, you know, it's like you make comments like what you're referring to in this comment, but yet you still come over here. Like, why come here, Susan? It appears as though it's just to seek attention. So please explain your justification for allowing a known terrorist in your chat, Wizzy. Because who claims he's a terrorist? You call him a terrorist. It doesn't mean he's a terrorist. I know that you think people who believe in their freedoms are terrorists. But yeah, it's okay. I know, Wes. You can choose to be a part of the conversation, or you can choose to carry on and just get silenced because, again, you spam the chat with this bullshit, this nonsense. Wes, why don't you come on up and have this conversation? And look, even the real Samuel, who is fake as shit, you know, he puts real in his name, which is just ironic, has shown up. So it's fun. Troy, I love you, man. You're my people. Laura Woodside, you know, you're free to pipe up and share, you know, because the chat wins, right? Please, you know, call out the nonsense. I'm happy to see that. So bigotry should be on the rules list because it drags the channel down should it occur. Furthermore, it's unnecessary because it never expels fascism, not even once. Wait, I need help with this one. Bigotry should be on the rules list because it drags the channel down should it occur. What rules list are you talking about? Is there a rules list? Do I have a rules list? I don't think I have a rules list. I've seen other channels that have, like, you know, this rules thing that you have to click on when you comment. You have to acknowledge the rules. Funny thing is, I have not seen where this setting is for these so-called rules. So I'm curious. And then it says, furthermore, unnecessary because it never expelled fascism, not once. Bigotry never expelled fascism. Okay. So, Wes Robinson, why do you come in here? And by the way, Brett has been banned many a times. At some point, I just am like, enough of his bull. Just like you, it's just pointless. It's absolutely pointless. I posted the link so you can join me and have a conversation because I really want to hear you. Oh, Raw, I'm sorry. I'll have to all right, Troy, do it, babe. It's on you. You can have that fun. You got it. I just saw your message. I need to figure out a way to have that back channel communication better. That was 46 minutes ago, Troy. I am so sorry. I just saw that. Yeah, go for it. Go for it. It's all yours. An enemy of America. I actually don't think he's an enemy of America. You might be, Wes, but we won't know any longer. Wanda Lisa. I've sort of considered doing that a little bit. I kind of keep my eye out, but in a way it's sort of fun because here's the thing, Wanda Lisa. They never engage in discussion. They really only want to come into the chat, and I know I've seen your account around for a while, and I've seen you in the chats, but I don't know how long you've been around. The attacks, you might want to say, there may be a better term for it, but Telescope, who I talk to on occasion, acknowledge the fact that there were these groups of people who wanted to shut down channels. That was their goal. Their goal was to shut down their enemy, the people who they don't like, who don't have the same political beliefs as they do, that they think. Their goal was to shut down channels and to just disrupt. And they glad hand each other constantly in their chats. Oh, look, Lisa Hurley's joined us. I'm guessing Lisa Hurley might be, and this will be a provocative statement here. Baby, I'm glad you recognized that. Now Lisa Hurley shows up. As soon as Wes was disappeared, this account Lisa Hurley shows up and says, "Hi, Troy," which it's funny, like would perhaps lead you to believe that this is Wes's account. This is Wes's alt account known as Lisa Hurley, who is another well-known sort of troll provocateur of chats. Odd coincidence, timing. I don't know. One of the things, if you want to be a really good troll, one of the things you do is use a computer, not your phone. Because one of the things that you can do on a computer, at least in Safari as a browser, is while you're in a live stream, you can literally go up to the top corner, switch accounts, staying live in that live stream, and chat in multiple names, one after another. So to throw people off, what you can do is chat from all your accounts simultaneously. That way, you don't have Wes around, and then all of a sudden, Troy gets to ban him, who, by the way, asked me 46 minutes ago if he could ban Wes. And I didn't see the message. But then as soon as he bans Wes, Lisa Hurley shows up. Odd coincidence? I don't believe in coincidence, but it is funny. Thanks, Feline. It's turned into just entertainment for me now. Because again, what it does is it shows you guys who watch, who understand and see all of this nonsense in a true WYSIWYG fashion, who people are and why we are in the state we're in, the division that we're in this country. And for whatever reason that is. But you see that, like, we cannot stop the nonsense until we start coming together and figuring out how to have a discourse with each other, not hate each other. I'm happy to have these discourses. You're afraid to chat too much. It's not about chatting too much, right? I don't, that's, it seems really difficult to get through to people like you, Troll. I don't know how many examples I need to show you. Oh no, Troll, actually, it was channels as well. That is why the attack on the channels, the mass reporting of channels, it was all part of it. The fact that you deny it is pretty amazing to me. That was dinner last night. I did French baguette with cheese and some good butter and some salt, and we watched the last. It felt kind of like appropriate for watching the final episode of The Crown. Lisa Hurley, I am not paranoid. It's not paranoia. It doesn't matter to me whether you're Wes or not. Is all I'm doing is pointing out something that happened, which is really comical. So for you to say it's paranoid is baseless, because it's not paranoid. It's that I'm aware. I have an awareness level that I'm pointing something out. Do I really think you're Wes? No, I don't. I don't even think that you guys comment the same. You know, you're another one of those assholes that I don't know why you're here. I don't mind that you're here. You're welcome here. You hate me, but you love to watch me and then comment. So, like, which is it? Like, which direction do you want to go with your comments? You know, what are you here for? Right? Well, baby, if you can't see how it reflects, right? Like we talked about polls one night and how I despise polls, because when you really look at where they take their cross section of polling from and the very small number of people that they get for the poll, and then they try to use that as a representation of America and what's going on, it's the same difference. You have, you know, earlier, right now, we got 273 people in the chat. If I do a poll of those, if all 273 of those people, it's 100% of the chat that responds. However, that still represents a very small portion of the country. And as long as you represent that in the poll and the numbers that you get, and you make sure that people are aware of that, but you get an idea, you get a sense, but you also have to know that, you know, probably, I don't know, if you won't get 100% reply on a poll. Here, let's see this. Gosh, I wish I could remember where I have to go to do that. Because I'm live streaming right now. I'm in YouTube. And I haven't done this myself. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Here's my stream. Okay, this is my stream right now. Okay. Oh, this is cool. I pressed the wrong button the other day. I'm going to start a poll. Okay. Here's the poll in the chat. Now, there's currently 279 people that I'm showing in the chat. Oh, wait. Shoot, wait, that's not the current stream. That's confusing. I should have looked at that before I did that. Why is that like that? How do I get to the stream that we're currently doing? Let me try it this way. Sorry. Let me try it this way. I know there's a way to do it. I just have never done it before. So here's my live right here. Did that before I did that. Why is that? And that's me like talking. So I got to pause that. Okay, now it's paused. Okay, now I'm in my own chat, and I'm going to hit the plus sign here. Start a poll. Let's see. Super simple. Ask your community. Let's see. Okay. So, and right now it says there's 299 people watching. So let's see how many people answer this poll. Very simple question. Actually, by answering no, you're answering the poll. So that is sort of funny too. Chris, you have heard me on panel. I know that. I'm well aware of that, Lisa. That's the funny part. You're like literally arguing the same thing I am. I know you and Wes are not the same person. It's just cleverly funny that you show up immediately following Wes's dismissal. That's all. Don't take it for anything else. So now you like sit here and I'm not Wes. I know you're not Wes. Well, I don't know that I've ever heard Wes, by the way. So you still could be Wes. Wes may be you. Boy. Baby, it was the unicorn. You're aware of the unicorn. You know she exists, right? So, are you really not paying attention? It might be WYSI derangement syndrome. The derangement is strong with people. Did you answer the poll as to no? She might be. I think I've actually talked to Lisa Hurley on panels. I judge you based on the comments that you make, Lisa. You're more than welcome to join me and be my guest here on the live stream. So my lady, the love of my life that I found here in Hagerstown, I refer to as the unicorn. So we had a little discussion about it one night, and it was either the goat or the unicorn or the unigoat. And we were going through pictures of unigoats because I didn't know there was such a thing. But so yeah, I just refer to her as the unicorn. So I'm glad you're caught up, baby. But yes, the unicorn and I have watched 5 seasons in the last, I don't know, when did we start? We would do like sometimes when we'd sit down and do an evening of telly. Oh yeah, I always blush. An evening of telly, we would watch one, maybe 2 episodes of The Queen. But yeah, so that's what we did last night. Was we finished that up finally, but because it was kind of late dinner because I was streaming and whatnot. We usually don't eat that late. You know, now that we're old people, we eat early. We usually have early dinner, but yeah. So Why Unicorn, Joan? Just because I needed some sort of name to call her for you, because people were asking, and so I was trying to figure out a good nickname, but we decided I just kind of went with the Unicorn because she is very much she's a rare breed of woman, and yes, Linda Lou, absolutely in love. So. And you know what's best about it, Linda Lou, is sometimes you find those things when you're least looking for them, and you meet people who you can't imagine you've crossed paths with, and that fate brings you together in this way that I never, like, I don't know. Right? And I don't know about you, but for me, it comes down to digestion. I need to eat early enough so that I don't go to bed on a full stomach because it just disrupts everything. If you've ever had acid reflux, you know what I'm talking about. And sometimes that's what happens as you get older, I think. Never a problem before. And the NASCAR fans in here, who do you like tomorrow? Gra wants to know. Who's favored to win, Gra? How did our poll end up? Where is that poll? Why can't I see the poll? How do I revive the poll? I know I broadcast the poll. The poll ended. How do I see the end of it? Oh, man. That's really weird. I posted the poll. Where did it go? Troll, I missed that one. Says, hugs, Lisa. I ain't hugging Wes. You got a problem with hugging men, Troll? I pinned it. Somebody else must have pinned it for me. But it's funny. Oh, maybe something happened with this feed here. Let me refresh it. Hang on. You're going to hear me for a second. No. Okay. I see. Okay. So end of poll. Okay. So this ended. But it was only 146 people out of the 300 at the time that were watching replied. So technically, it's 100% of the replies answer polls because they answered yes or no. But the simple fact is that in that poll, no matter what you answered, it said that, so 300, less than half of the viewing audience actually answers polls, is what we learned. There's a percentage there that we could figure out. Not important. 300 average, we'll say, instead of 299. So 300 people watching. Only 146. So 150 would be half. So, 4 people less than half replied to the poll. Yes or no didn't matter. So that's, Gross says 49%. So 49% of the viewing audience replies to polls. So, Annie, it wasn't trickery in the sense, but ultimately that's, by just asking, do you answer polls, just tells us, right? But again, that goes to show you how polls are done. Does that mean the entire country, only 46% of the country answers polls? No, it doesn't. But somebody might say that, just on average, because this is a non-political poll, 300 people saw it go out or potentially saw it go out. They should have seen it go out. We were talking about it. So Lisa says Wes's would never fall. Never would have never fell for the poll. So, okay. Wait till the early hours. Fake votes will come. Well, it's closed, unfortunately, but I know what you mean. I get your, it took me a second. I got it. Now that the poll's closed, there'll be more votes come in. Baby, you will get more. I have to figure out how to do this properly, because I'd like to. I don't want to have to do this the hard way and get these polls in here, but I wish I could just drag it up onto my screen, but I can't do that. It doesn't allow me to do that. And I could show you this way and then go, okay, well, here's the live stream, here's the poll, right? I don't think that looks very clever or fun, but it is what it is. But there should be a nicer, smoother, easier, cleaner way to do that. But I'm working on it. We'll see what happens. But listen, gang, it's been fun hanging out. I hope you got something out of the beginning pre-break of this stream, which was the information I wanted to share with you, this video that I had seen. If you didn't, go back and watch it if you're interested. See this information about John Sullivan and his role in January 6th and what was going on and what was happening a little bit before that. It's a little peek into that. John Fetterman could be out for weeks over depression. Fascinating. Okay. It's been good talking. 5 convoy members live. Okay, cool. That's a good possibility too, because it's actually really easy to do. Maybe Troy or Scott maybe will do a how-to on that one. Actually, I kind of did the how-to. If you were paying attention, you would know how to. But pools prove that you're an asshole, troll. Come back for the next stream, and we'll prove that to you. So, for now, everybody, WYSIWYG out. We'll see you guys later. Have a great night. Bye, everybody.